Hey guys, and welcome back to High Functioning Slightly Faded. Today on the podcast, I am joined by my friend Quinn again for part 2 of our interview. We have some great content for you guys today on the podcast, so stay tuned. You're going to love this one. Thanks again for listening. So, moving on to the next topic, how many tattoos do you have, Quinn?
I think I have 12 or 13.
Damn. What
Yeah.
was the most painful one that you got? Where was it?
Um, I'd say like it was probably there's one on my back calf that my artist that I've been with for a while, and she did it all in one day, like the color and the lining and everything. And it just so happened to be like one of the days a few years ago that it was like 100 degrees outside, no joke. So like I left that place with like my leg was like so swollen. I was working at the dispensary at the time, so I was walking
Yeah.
around the next day, and it's like right in like the
Probably
crook of my
standing the whole
knee.
time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So that was probably the most painful, either that one or I have one on my arm that was like my first like actual tattoo that it hurt my hand a lot because I wasn't sure what I was going to be like walking into. I had
Yeah.
nothing to expect, you know.
I feel like hands hurt though, because there's not a lot of fat there.
Yeah, I have two on my thumbs, and those definitely were two of my really good friends did those,
Yeah.
and those are probably the toughest. They're the smallest ones I have, and they hurt the most for sure, I'd say. Most tedious.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sometimes I ask patients, I've had patients with like Cambodian prison tattoos and stuff. Like, it's crazy. And sometimes I'll ask them and be like, well, maybe not those people, but like, if it looks like a prison tattoo, I might not be asking about it. But
Right.
usually, like, if someone has a cool tattoo, I'll be like, oh, I like that or whatever. Or I'll be like, was that painful if it's in like on a collarbone or something? And it's
Yeah.
always interesting to hear what they have to say. And they're like, do you have any? And they're usually surprised when I say no. And I'm like, I just feel like I'm too indecisive. Like maybe if there was something I really wanted to do, but I also would be like, ah, because
Yeah,
I'm
I get
thinking
that.
about pain. Do you have a favorite tattoo?
No, I don't. I do not. I feel like, let's see, not really. Like I like them all. Like I feel like they're almost all color. Like I only have a few that
Yeah.
aren't in color, but they were all kind of gotten around like the same time, like within like 2 years, 3 years of each other.
Yeah.
I have one
Do you
that I
think
got.
color's holding up?
Oh yeah, my I've been told that my skin is like unicorn skin. It's like
You're
it
so
takes colors
pale.
that it takes a lot of colors that like a lot of people
Skin
have
tone
issues
don't
with.
see. Oh, that's
So
awesome.
like even like a lot of people usually have a hard time with red and yellow, and I have yellow in all my tattoos, and they're all still very, very vibrant, very
That's
red.
interesting. Probably because of the undertones of their skin and stuff.
Yeah, and I also just like don't go in the sun period. Like even like when I'm going to
Yeah.
work, if it's hot out, like I'm pretty much wearing like pants the whole time.
Bro, we're gonna be wrinkle free at like 80,
Oh,
keeping our pale
100%.
skin out of the sun.
I'm trying to be 23 forever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's real.
I'm not trying to have melanoma, I'm not trying to have no wrinkles, nothing.
That's real. You've already been 23 for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I say it works well. Every now
That's
and then
good to know.
someone will question my ID, and I'm like, no, it's real. You can check it. It's real. That's really me. I have my passport
That's
with me too.
Well, you're a little on the younger side because you
Oh,
turned
for sure.
21 in August of 2021, but
Yep.
Joe turned 21 in June of 2020.
Oh yeah,
And
he's a little bit
so
older.
he's one of the lucky few, and I say that like loosely, who he has a 16-year-old picture on his license, and he looks so damn cute. But he
Aw.
does not. He looks like a baby. Like he's like a man now, and he's had a few people say you need to get a new ID.
Yeah,
But even
definitely.
he's renewing his license now, and they're not making for the real ID, and they're not making him take a new picture. Joe didn't have the
What?
real ID because he couldn't go in person at the time for when he got his last license when we turned
Hmm.
21. And I was able to go in person. That's when I got my real ID. I went in person for that.
Me
And I have
too.
an amazing picture. My 16-year-old one, not so cute. My 21-year-old, I'm slaying, I'm eating.
Yeah. I'm
But
doing pretty well in mine too. I'd agree with that.
I look pretty good. But it was, I guess that was the reason. But he also has a transportation workers identification credential. It's called like a TWIC. So it's a different kind of for being a merchant marine, and it's a different kind of ID that you can use for your traveling. And
Oh,
most of the
that's
traveling
cool.
that he's done is for work. So like he doesn't really need one, but he has to have one because we all have to have one now or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I know. So I'm like, you're gonna still have that picture, and it's just funny.
That's
It's cute
horrible.
though.
That's good for
It is.
you.
I'm like, dude, they're gonna make me retake it. Well, I was gonna say with the beard, it's harder for him to. Sometimes people say stuff to him because of the beard, and they'll be like, "You look so much older. You got to get a new picture." And he's like, "All right." Usually, he doesn't even get carded, but he shaved it into a mustache, so He does it every once in a while, and so I'm wondering. He looks good though. He has like he actually can
I
grow
know.
the
I heard
mustache.
you gush about the mustache. I heard it. I heard it. I
Well, at
heard
least
it.
it looks good on him, but
That
it's
is
just
good.
like I'm interested to see if it means he's gonna get carded more or less. But
You're right.
I don't
That's
know.
true.
I know.
Yeah, my brother did
So
that transition too, and it definitely makes
yeah,
him look a little bit younger. I feel like just a
yeah.
little bit.
Some people can pull it off, some people can't. Sometimes it just you might be able to pull it off, but like it's a little bit. It might not be a traditional like Burt Reynolds type of mustache. Like Tara's boyfriend had almost like a little Frenchy type of mustache for a little bit,
Ooh.
where like he had it like he like trimmed it down where it was like just over his like really just over his lip.
Okay.
And
Thank
but
you.
honestly, Tara hated it. I think. Well, I don't know if she hated it, but she made him shave it before we went to Mexico. But I actually thought like he looked pretty good on him.
That's good.
Oh,
A
Joe
guy that can
texting
pull
me.
it off, I
Maybe
think, is
you're loud.
go
Ass
for
just
it.
woke me up. Sorry, Joe.
Uh,
Joe's texting me. Oh, he said, "What are you doing right now?" He's probably like, "Why are you being loud?" But what have you been up to lately? Do you have any new projects or fun things planned on the horizon?
Absolutely. Like I wish I did. Um, it's really like a boring summer. Like I'm looking forward to a pretty boring summer.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I work like in a
Sometimes that's
school
good.
building, so like that's like a pretty
Yeah.
tough pace to keep for most of the year. So like the summer's
Yeah.
gonna be pretty quiet. But also, we're going to visit my brother in
That'll
a
be
few
fun.
months, right? That's fun. Um, July 4th is coming up. I don't have any plans, but that's just another day off
Yeah,
to
I'll
look
be
forward to.
working.
Oh, really?
It's my holiday. I'll be on.
Damn.
But I'm off the 2 days after for the weekend, so I'll do something then.
Okay, okay,
And
yeah.
Joe's parents fixed the boat, so this summer for the first time since we've been dating. I mean, it's expensive to get a new engine and stuff, but they did it this year. And like the year his sister got married, they weren't doing it because I was like gonna be like way too much stress when they were
Right.
gonna do all this stuff for the wedding that was in June. But so they did it for this year, and so I'm excited because maybe when I get out of work, we'll go on the boat or something. I know Mickey and Maddie are having a party, but I just don't know if I'm gonna be like I'm gonna get there so late because by the time I get home from work, it's usually like 8 o'clock, and then I'd have to shower. And even if I went straight to their place from work, it's so far that I wouldn't get there till like 9 o'clock
Yeah,
probably.
either way, you're gonna be like an hour and a half late minimum, which is like that's tough. You kind of want to
Well,
alleviate
they're
that
definitely
stress
having
if
a
you
pool
can.
party, so it'll be if it was a nighttime party, I would be an hour and a half late, but I'll be very, very, very late. So I'll just have to see
Yeah,
what the vibes are. If people are really having fun and they're like, "Come over, we're still up," but if they're like,
right.
"We're going to bed," different story. I
Different
have to
story,
work the third
totally.
too, but luckily because I live right near the ocean, I'm going to be able to see a lot of the July 3rd fireworks like really close to my building. So
That's
at least
awesome.
I'll be able to do that. I know, a little bit of a positive.
Let me think. Like the summer's like pretty exciting. Like you said, like we're not really doing anything for Pride this year. Like we went to like our hometown's Pride thing, and that was fun. But it was I think I don't remember if I had told you this about it. It was very weird because I'll tell you what I'll tell you what our teacher told us.
Oh
Um,
yes, Quinn saw our old teacher at the Pride in our old
so
hometown.
we went to our hometown Pride because I was volunteering for it because I thought like whatever, it's a Sunday, I can go, it'll be fun. I thought it was weird how it was kind of like about like there were like a lot of kids there, and then I was like, you know what? I think it's actually probably good that there's kids there because that means Abby was like that means like their families are supportive or their families know someone and they're teaching their kids, and I was like, no, that's good. That's a good way to see it. So our high school's GSA, our Gay Straight Alliance Club, they had a little
Yeah.
tent there for those who are straight and do
For
not
those
have
who
any
don't
idea
know,
what
yeah.
that is, who
I
would
thought
have
it was
bullied
gender
kids like us.
study. Wait, no, no. Didn't they change it to gender sexuality something?
I think they did, but I wasn't sure because that was a
It might have been
change
after
that
we left.
that was my decision to change it actually when I was the president, but I don't know like if they continued with it or like if it was ever just like official or if it was just we would speak it to each other that way, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think
Or
it
if
was
it's like almost like an acronym that you never say it other than the GSA, so
exactly,
it's
and like
whatever
you
you
don't
want
talk
it to
about it
be.
really outside of high school, so but
That's true.
I went up to our teacher and she was really excited to see me. She was our our senior year English teacher actually.
Yeah, poetry.
And poetry, shout out, sixth
You
period.
know.
And she was telling me a story. So for those who don't know, I don't mind disclosing this because I feel like we're allies here, but I'm trans. And so when we were in high school, I played lacrosse and I did not play lacrosse. I didn't want to be in either of the locker rooms when I played lacrosse because I felt like the school that we went with, like I was talking to the principal and I said to her, I feel like in either locker room, I'm probably gonna have like a safety threat. Like I just didn't feel like it was a safe place for me to be. So I don't know if you know this, but when I was playing lacrosse, I used the teacher's locker room, which was across from the AD's office. And it was kind of like a single stall situation. Like there was one bathroom, one shower, but there was like maybe like 100 lockers in there. No, maybe 100, maybe like, I'm bad at estimating, maybe 30. Jesus Christ. But one of the
I feel
teachers,
like I literally have no idea where that would have been in the building, but keep going. I'm trying to think of it in my head.
it's like if you're going in through the field house, right, and you're going in
Mhm.
through and you take, it's like that first weird right that no one ever really goes down.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I guess I was in there one day getting ready for a
Hmm.
game or something like that, and a different teacher told our teacher, I knew that like his transition wasn't a joke because one day I opened the door to like use the teacher's locker room that I was in as well, and his mouth guard was just on the bench. And he said to himself, only a dude would do that. Like, no woman would ever just leave their fucking mouth guard on, like, the bench of the referee guest, like, faculty locker room. So
Bro,
she told me that,
you're
and she was like,
disgusting for that. That's true. That's so true.
and she was like, I've known that for years. She's like, I've never told you that. And I was like, she was so excited to tell me that I just,
That is so fucking
and this is
funny.
in front of other people too, and I'm thinking like, wow, you really just did that to me. But it was it was funny. So that was like, that was a positive. That was something I was looking forward to, and it ended up being pretty good. So I feel like the rest of the summer is just going to
I
be
had
great.
no idea what that story was going to be when you said that you had seen them and there was a story, and I'm like, that is so fucking funny.
No, I
That was
know.
you're disgusting. Yeah, you're gross.
Definitely nasty. I have to admit that. Like I know that, but I also like knew exactly what she was talking about. So
I'm like definitely a man over here.
yes,
I'm like,
exactly.
what do you think is something that we can do as allies during Pride Month, or even just around the year, better for like our loved ones in our life? Even if it's something that's like, I don't know, maybe not that it's something that we might not even think of, or maybe maybe you're gonna be like, no, you need to donate your entire salary to your best gay friend on June 1st. I
So
don't
like
know. What
I
do you
feel like
think?
it's a combination there. To be honest with you,
You're like, I like that idea.
I feel like everyone always thinks like reparations are a big deal, and I feel like yeah, like if you have the means and you are well above like doing well for yourself
Yeah,
at the ripe old age of
disposable
25,
income. Yeah,
I really do feel like you should be trying to do something. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to hate you if you don't, but I think that a lot of people realize like a lot of what this country is facing has a lot to do with things that are money driven. You know, like lawyers need to be paid to fight these crazy bills that are
yeah,
getting thrown at, all these different places and all these different states. So
yeah.
that's one thing. But then
Oligarchy.
also, one what I think about, and you're gonna laugh because you know exactly what
Okay.
I'm talking about. You know, like that commercial with Hillary Duff, and she's like, "Hey, would you say like that girl looks that's so girl that's wearing a skirt for a shirt or whatever she says? Like
Yeah.
don't say gay."
Oh, don't say gay. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Dude,
feel
do you remember on the morning announcements during I have never I definitely am not a perfect person. I've definitely said things that I shouldn't have said in the past and like jokes I shouldn't have made. And like when we were in high school, like we graduated in 2018, it was like people were saying that's so gay, like and
oh
saying like the
constantly
F slur and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say that I was not doing that. I'm like I'm not gonna stand here and lie. Like I think I have learned and grown and
no
all that,
comment.
whatever. No, yeah, no comment. But I don't know. Like I was the announcer or whatever. I was the broadcaster on the morning announcements that morning during what was it, Ally Week or something?
Yes.
And I had to say on the morning announcements, do you ever walk around the school hearing things like the F slur and people saying that was so gay, that
Oh my
test was
God.
so gay or whatever? And I had to say this whole thing, and everyone was dying because they were like, out of
Where's
anyone on
Julie
the
so
morning
much?
announcement that was gonna say that, it's like I've heard her say shit like that before, and I was like, but the people I was friends that were that my honestly, I feel like my gay friends thought that it was funnier than anybody else
Oh,
did,
it was
but I was.
hilarious.
Because I knew I didn't mean it in this intention, and I should, if I could go back in time, I would not undo all those things, but I can't.
No, we can't. We
So
can't. We lived through them. We did them. It's okay.
yeah, like I would say I feel like people could tend to forget there was a huge shift in 2016 about
Thank
what
you.
really was acceptable and what wasn't. Like a huge shift, like because pre 2016, like if a celebrity said the N-word or something, they weren't even guaranteed going to be canceled. That's why
No,
all these videos
exactly.
came out later of like Justin Bieber like making, I don't know if you saw, he's like
No,
in the one less, he sings like One Less Lonely Girl and says like the N-word in it and
oh
stuff.
my
And like
God.
it came out after, but he was like 13 or 14 in those videos or whatever. And but they didn't really resurface till later. And it's probably because it wouldn't really have, it would have been kind of crazy if a 13-year-old was doing that.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been as crazy until when he was older, and obviously they really were getting after people for stuff like that. I
Yeah, I
don't
feel
agree with
like
any of that, but there definitely was a huge shift, and things were a little different before then.
I remember it's funny because when we were at Pride and I was talking to our teacher and there were two younger kids there, and one of them had like just graduated our school, and I think one of them might have still been like a junior or something. So it was really weird. I don't really talk to youth that much from our hometown, so it was like interesting.
Me neither.
And our teacher
I
was
don't even
like,
know anyone.
yeah, I didn't know them for sure. And our teacher was like, "Oh, you guys would have gotten along. Like things were a lot harder when Quinn was in school." And they were like, "Well, what do you mean it's still hard there?" And I was like, "No, like right before 2016, like it was literally like middle school was horrible. Like
Yeah.
middle school was absolutely horrible. As far as like acceptance and bullying and like people being like okay with certain things or saying certain
Yeah.
things." And I
Well,
feel
and
like
wasn't it like 10 years ago or maybe 11 years ago this year? When was gay marriage even legalized? Because weren't we in middle school when it got legalized? So like we're
in
not even,
Massachusetts
we're
it
really
was
not old at
2010.
all. Okay, so it was 2010, and then
I think
federally it
so.
was okay. Okay, well,
2012.
no, I think Massachusetts might have been like 2004, dude. But
It
I
was
think
earlier,
I
I
meant
believe.
federally. Obviously,
Federally, I want to say it
Massachusetts
was
is a little bit better, but
2013, 2012.
yeah, which was around the time we were in middle school. So like,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy to think it hasn't even been federally legal that long.
No,
So that's also
exactly.
probably a big reason the shift happened because it was legal and people were like,
Exactly.
yeah, this is fine. What the fuck is the problem you guys have with this? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah,
That
it's
I feel like as allies, like it's important. Like I'm.
like
It's
call
so
people out.
yeah. It's so cheesy to say. It's so cheesy to say, but I hear people say those words all the time still. You know what I mean? Like even at my job,
I feel like there's been a resurgence.
definitely because I don't think we even need to say why, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah, true. I guess
Sometimes
I would think about
I
that.
think like for example like at my work like someone was asking me something about pride and I was kind of being quiet
Mm-hmm.
about it and they were like because I'm not out at work and so
Mm-hmm.
they were like kind of mansplaining something to me about something that I already knew about obviously
Oh, I hate that.
and I was thinking in my head like you don't even understand that like sometimes especially in these times like during this month sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
safer for certain people to be quiet and to not participate and to not comment on things. You never know who's around, you never know who's listening, and people with these hate crimes are absolutely insane. So
It's insane.
if you do something to put yourself in danger, I don't put it past anyone to just like act out of pocket. You've seen crazier stuff on the news recently with
I
like road
know.
rage and
I
like
know,
whatever.
it's
So
crazy. But if you see someone doing something too, or like
you would hope that
even
someone
if,
would step in. You would
but
hope
like
so.
but people, you can't expect people to like the bystander effect is real, and you can't
No,
expect
100%. 100%.
you have to be like you don't like it's not even that difficult all the time to de-escalate a situation. You could even just be like, bro, like you're acting weird. Why would you even say that? If you know what I mean? Like you
No,
don't have to say
exactly.
anything crazy. It's gonna totally escalate a situation, but it is. I feel like if you care about these people in your life, then you should try to do things to.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the situation. Like, obviously,
Oh,
like
for sure.
actual violence and actual weapons or actual, like that's tough. But it's also like call 911. You know what I mean? If you see a group
Yeah.
ganging up on someone and it's obvious that they're saying some slurs about anyone, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be homophobic. It could be, racist. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just hey, public safety. Just want to let you know there's some crazy stuff going on over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. How'd you wait? I have a specific question for you, like you
Yes.
specific. How did you pick the name Quinn? Did you feel like you found the name, or
Can I be,
did
like,
you feel
totally
like
honest with
it
you?
found you?
It
Yes.
has to be something like absolutely bullshit crazy, but like I was like addicted to Tumblr. Like I think like that was like my social
That
media
was
of
that time
choice.
frame too, yeah.
And I feel like it was also popular on there for like whether you were using an alias or whether you were just like queer going by a weird name.
Yeah.
It was so there were
I
so
do
many
remember it was a pretty
names.
popular name.
Like there was like a
People
lot
that were transitioning.
and there's like a lot of names I feel like that were like weird and you were like, "Oh, I'm definitely not going to do that." So I feel like I don't really
Yeah,
remember being
I feel like
inspired by anything, but I remember
okay.
being like, this is what I'm definitely not gonna do. I'm
I
not
didn't
gonna
know if
do
it
Alex with
had
the Y.
I totally get that because it's like, do you want to draw more attention to yourself?
Which I mean, like, I kind of
Some
did
people do.
already, but that's
Some
okay.
people do, and but you're already going to draw attention to yourself, and
Thank you.
not
Yep.
all of that is going to be positive attention. So
No.
I do know sometimes people they just want to be like John or like a name
Yeah.
that is like a very standard name because they don't. Well, also they just might not want to have a crazy like out of the box name,
No,
but they might
exactly.
just be like I'm a normal person. Just because I'm trans doesn't mean I'm not a normal person.
I'm just an
Like
ordinary girl.
I think
Sometimes
people
I'm
forget about
lazy.
that.
I get bored. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
just ordinary people, man. But some people, I don't get it. I don't get it, to be honest with you.
I
But I'm
know,
not gonna judge because everyone's got their thing.
I
Everyone's
know.
got their thing.
It's true. What's your favorite drug to do during Pride Month
Jesus Christ.
or Pride celebrations?
You know,
It could be alcohol, if that's what you want to go with.
I was honestly gonna say I like to drink, and this is the reason why I think I don't
Hmm.
like getting drunk, but
Yeah.
when you like show up at like your friend's pride barbecue or something like that, like I'm down for sharing, but if you bring a joint, there's no guarantee that anybody else is going to be passing another joint around. So if you've got like 20
Hmm.
people and you're like, yeah, spread the love, happy pride, you might not see that back. You might take one hit and that might be it. And then,
Yeah.
you know, if
Honestly, this is just sorry to interrupt you. This is
no,
a
you're
quick
good.
input from the straight community though. It seems like less and less people are smoking weed in our circles, and it's almost like sometimes it's like you want to smoke with someone. It's like you're begging people to smoke with you, and it's like I'm not trying to be like this, but it's like what am I? I don't want to be like the guy going out to fucking get a drag of a cig during the middle of a show. Oh, I hit my mic in the middle of a show. You know what I mean? Like I'm at a
Yeah,
party. Like, did anybody else
yeah.
want to smoke this with me? Like, so it's just funny you say that because I feel like almost it's an opposite experience.
It depends because, like, honestly, like, as someone who I know you're a generous stoner, you're a generous person,
Yeah.
you're a good friend. So, like, when you go to somewhere and you bring something, like, usually, like, we're like, oh, well, this person's going to be there, so they're probably definitely going to roll up. So it's
Yeah.
very rare that we are the only ones, but there have been
Mhm.
certain occasions where it's like, oh, you can tell someone just, like, came to indulge in what other people brought. But I feel
Mhm.
like when you show up with like a 4 pack of cider or like a 6 pack of beer and
Mhm.
you're holding it, it's very obvious like I didn't bring this for you. I brought this
Mhm.
for me, and this is such a small amount that if you were to ask me for one, I would give you a crazy look and it would be justified.
Yeah, because it's like yes, I know
Because
exactly what
that's what we
you
do. Like
mean.
we'll get like
It would be
9%
justified.
ciders, and then we'll split. Like I'll have two, and Abby will have two. And sometimes like we'll bring like a fat ass joint, and we'll sneak over
Mhm.
into the corner, and we have some friends where we're definitely inviting them like to come join. Like hey, like come sneak over here with us. But sometimes
Yeah.
it's like those people that you've never met at the party, and like no one
Yeah,
seems to know who they are either. That seem
I
to
know.
always find their way into the rotation, and I'm like, yeah, spread the love, but
Yeah.
also, hmm.
But you better like bring some personality. You better be the personality stranger and not just like someone that's gonna stare at me.
Yeah, and like please
Yeah.
like don't talk to me about like your mushroom trip that you did yesterday. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah, I
get
don't
it.
know you
I get
like
it.
that. I
Nope.
know what you mean. I will say I feel like I mean I guess I'm straight so it's like not really my place to comment on this, but I don't necessarily disagree with that answer, but I will say as far as things go as like what we would say gay drugs are,
Oh yeah, I'm not doing many of those. We don't have many of those. Me
well, I
myself
was
and
shocked. I met someone in New York and they were like, "Man, I might do some G tonight." And I was
what's
like GHB, like, are you talking about Rohypnol, like the date rape drug? And then all the gay guys laughed and laughed. I'm like, you guys are so fucked. Then it's like, they're all doing ketamine and
yeah,
they're doing
that's a
poppers.
popular one.
And when
Yeah.
I was in New York, and this is part of the reason I thought of this question, when I was out with all those gay guys, I was saving this for now. When we were at the cocktail crawl, one of them came up to me and was like, Julie, like, Jake wants me to give this to you. And I'm like, what is this? And so, first of all, and like maybe this just goes to show the amount of straight people that I hang out with, but like, if you're gonna hand me, first of all, I thought he was gonna give me a shot, and he goes, no, 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 because I like leaned my like head back and like opened my mouth, and he was like, no, no,
Yeah.
no. So then I'm like, oh, this must be like smelling salts or something. I mean, I know gay guys do poppers. I'm not like stupid, but I've never been at a party where they've been there. Like I've never tried them. I don't know what they're like.
You've
The
never
only
been
thing I've ever
offered?
smelled is when I've been no, never.
Oh my God.
Not before this time. And I was surprised with it. I just expect I've never like people at parties though have been like, oh, Julie in college, and then it would be smelling salts, and it's like you don't even have to inhale, and that shit gets in your face if it's too close to you, and I'm like, ugh, get that out of here. But I expected it to be like that,
Yeah,
and it was
definitely.
not like that at all. I immediately got the spins and I was like, whoa, I'm gonna throw up. Well, I didn't. I just took a second, but I didn't realize it was like a downer. But you know, all these gay guys afterwards, they were like, how was it? How was it? What did you think? What did you think? And I'm like, my
Never
butt
again.
didn't even relax or anything. And one of them was like, well, it's a little different when you got a big back cock knocking on your back door. And I was like, ah! It was so funny. It was so funny. But I was like, that was fucking out of pocket.
That was very out of pocket. That is crazy.
But I was like, I just thought I was gonna, like, I literally just felt like I was gonna throw up. Luckily, the feeling passed after a minute. I'm never doing that again.
You know what, Julie? I've never done poppers before, so I actually don't know what it's like. But I've been told it's like a nicotine
That's
buzz.
so funny. That's so funny. Who's your favorite member of the LGBTQ community that is like a celebrity? Like your favorite celebrity of any level, LGBTQ member?
You know, I'm not gonna lie, and I think that you definitely know who this person is, but Sasha Colby is definitely probably one of my favorites.
Yes, I do know who that is.
And then I have to say, like, he has his own issues, and I have to, and we acknowledge that, we really do. But like in the modern day, like RuPaul has really, like, you know, you think about the amount of money that he's given.
Dude, I love RuPaul.
Individual people.
I don't care if you're
gay.
I don't care if you're gay, straight, 6 years old, 70 years old. I don't care. Follow RuPaul on Instagram. You are going to get a laugh out of this. This is the funniest Instagram account ever. Like, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose.
Oh, yeah, it's a marketing scheme. It's all marketing.
It definitely is, but he's still, like, RuPaul's like 80 or something, or 70 something. Yeah,
he's like 76,
and so it's like,
I think,
it almost does seem like, how is someone this old even inside on this joke? Like, this is hilarious, but it's the funniest, like, most just like, it's almost brain rot content.
Have you ever listened to his old podcast with Michelle Visage?
No, I haven't.
I really think you should, because I'm going to tell you a little quick story time,
yeah,
and then we'll get into our obsessions.
Yes.
I was at one of my last jobs. I pretty much didn't talk to anybody. Like, I was on a computer all day. I was at a scanner all day. I was listening to podcasts. And I was listening to it's called What's the Tea? They stopped it because of COVID, and they haven't brought it back yet. But he brings on, like, either it's celebrities or like the drag queens from the show. And they have, like, genuinely some of the most insightful conversations. Like, they're funny as hell, but some of it, like, really gets you, like, thinking. And I feel like he's giving this podcast for free. Like, this is like, you know, people pay money to go and listen to people talk about shit like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like a motivational speaker or whatever. But I feel like I liked listening to him, like, when I was walking, because it was just kind of like, I'm thinking about nothing
that's
already.
good to know.
You know what I mean?
I'll definitely have to check that out. That's really good to know.
And also, like, just like crazy things, but like, you know, he does happen to have a lot of money, and there's a lot of episodes where he's talking about, like, how he views wealth and how he views, like, philanthropy and stuff like that. And I feel like even as someone who does not have a lot of money, I think it's still kind of like important concepts to remember. Like, it's important, but it's not everything. Like, it will come back to you if you put it in the right places, type of thing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's just like a shout out to that. But I think that you would enjoy that.
I'll definitely have to check that out. Thank you. I have one other Pride related question, and then I do have some lightning round questions. We can do that either before or after the obsessions. As far as
we could do that after. That could be like the last.
I was gonna say, if that's what you want to do. But they're just random questions, I guess, that will help people get to know you. Maybe some interesting questions I was wondering about you. But if you had to be stuck in a room for a few hours, hanging out with, maybe having like dinner, you could be playing video games, but you have to like hang out with them, spend time with this person, some person that's like, that's very homophobic or transphobic, which well-known person that falls under these categories would you pick? If you have another person that's not mentioned, throw them in there. But we have Elon Musk, DaBaby, Dave Chappelle, Millie Bobby Brown, J.K. Rowling, Trump. There's a lot of people you could pick here, but if you do have someone else that you think would be a better person to be trapped with, you can throw them in.
Can I ask you a question that's genuine?
Yeah.
I always thought the Millie Bobby Brown thing was like a joke. Is it not a joke?
It's definitely a joke, yes.
Okay, okay, like, then aside from her, I would honestly say, like, how many hours do I have to spend with this person?
Like 4 or 5 hours.
I'd say like J.K. Rowling.
Dude, you would literally torture her.
Well, that's
you
the
can
thing.
do whatever
like,
you want. You could literally just like get in a fight with this person.
That's what I mean. And like, she's so weak from that mold that she had in her brain that it's like, let's just get it over with. You know what I mean? Knock her out.
Dude, that was fucking crazy.
Let me tell you this. To anyone that is listening, we do not need new Harry Potter merch. We do not need a new Harry Potter land. We do not need a new Harry Potter book. We don't need a new Harry Potter movie.
She's going to write a new Harry Potter book with like a gender assignment hat.
That's what I mean. I'm like, y'all, we don't need it. Go and read the first 7 and just forget about it. You know what I mean?
it's just like I don't know. She's
whatever it
probably
is.
like this transgender thing is undermining people who said originally they didn't think Neville fit in Gryffindor, and then it really
What
showed
the
at the
fuck?
end that he really belonged in there because he probably thought because people were saying for years he should have been a different house, and then he came back and had this whole hero arc.
Jesus
She's
Christ.
crazy. She's fucking crazy for that mold
Yeah.
in her brain. Have you heard the way that she didn't say that, but in my mind, like she is so crazy in the way that she tries to justify these things that is almost something that I could hear her saying.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Nuts. Like, I don't know. But okay, so for my recent things that I've been just like pretty into lately, some slight obsessions. Hacks, obviously, such a great show. If you guys haven't seen it and you're like, I don't know if I would be into this show about this like 70-something-year-old like old lady comedian and this lesbian girl that's her writer. Or she's actually bisexual. She's bisexual. It's great.
Respect.
Me and Joe watch it. Me and Joe cracking up laughing watching that show. It's awesome. And Joe's mom likes it, and a lot of people I work with, like, there's a lot of different demographics of people I know that are into this show. So if you're not sure if you would like it, you definitely should check it out. You're gonna love it. It's on HBO. Handmaid's Tale just finished their final season a couple weeks ago, and and I will say, obviously, it's more of a political involved show. It's a great show. The book's obviously great, the Margaret Atwood book. But there's points in it, like with any political show or heavier show, that you're like, oh, I feel like this is dragging on. And part of that is because like they really do kind of have to set the atmosphere because that's what it's like to live in this like Gilead life or
Yeah,
whatever.
they got to add some context.
Yes, and like there are some slower areas in the show, but I will say that this was for final season of a show, this was probably the best final season of a show I've ever seen. Like it
wow,
exceeded
that's saying a lot.
expectations. It was great, and like that's why I'm telling people, like, even if you feel like you might be in a point in the show where it's a little bit of a lull, the last season is so great, and the payoff I feel like is worth it. It's a great show.
That's good to know. I've never given it a try, but I will know.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'm gonna throw Bald and the Beautiful out there because I think they're like
Shout
season
out.
7 just ended, and we were talking about it before with Trixie and Katya, the drag queens. It's hilarious. Caleb Heron and his podcast, So True, I Love. I
So
actually
funny.
saw him with my friend Steven. He's hilarious. In April at the Wilbur, it was awesome. But he just got some new HBO special, so
Oh, that's
I thought
great.
I'd shout
I
him
know.
out because he's hilarious. And if you guys aren't like following him, you definitely should. He's really funny. I just started watching Sirens on Netflix. I'm only like the second episode of it, but it actually is really good. So if you were like me and you were like, oh, there's a lot of hype about it, but I just haven't watched it yet, it's actually really great. You should check that out. The steak and cheese from the hot bar at Market Basket is actually so delicious. I don't know. Me and Joe went yesterday and got like hot sandwiches there. Joe got
Shout
like a turkey.
out, MB.
But it's really good. There was a lady there. I almost had to like fight at the counter that was being so rude to the people that I was like, will you shut the fuck up? I didn't say anything because I was like, I can't get in a fight with this lady right now. But I hate when I see people that are being extremely rude like that in public. But the guy had it under control, but she was really getting under my skin. Ma 2 is greenlit. An obsession of mine. I love the movie Ma. Me and my friend Tracy from high school, we saw Ma. We were laughing our ass off that whole movie. And for so long, no one had seen this fucking movie with Octavia Spencer. Recently, it's been more of a meme. She has the bob
definitely.
of all time. She's like, don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone. You know, it's like, how can you not love her? The movie is fucking crazy. It is so funny. It's a horror movie, but it is hilarious. And it's just like, it's just so out of pocket. Farkle from Girl Meets World's in it. He's supposed to be like a love interest,
Oh my
which
God.
is kind of funny. But they just greenlit Ma too. And on The Bold and the Beautiful, I was listening to their new episode from yesterday. Katya was like, why don't they call it Mama? And that's so true. That would Ma too. Why wouldn't they go with Mama?
That is so funny.
Then my last obsession that we can always go back to this if you're like, I want to talk more about that. But Luigi Mangione sent for his 27th birthday to someone who I guess was writing to him in jail, his 27 reasons that he is grateful, things that he's grateful for. So I guess this would be my last obsession because I saw it, and I'll post it on the Instagram, but it definitely
Okay.
number 16 is Latinas for Mangione. So there's definitely some highlights on that list for sure.
Awesome. That is so funny.
Yes, it is definitely funny. I saw that last night and I was like, I have to talk about this on the podcast. All right, Quinn, what are some of your recent obsessions and things that you have going on?
All right, so number one, we've been ripping the 90 Day Fiancé. I'm sorry, I know it's a really horrible show.
love
I know
that.
it's probably super controversial, but we don't watch The Housewives. We sometimes watch Mormon Wives, but not always. But 90 Day before and the regular 90 Day franchise, that's just a good, like, I just got home from work and I kind of want to turn my brain off show, you know? It's also nice to see people in a slightly crazier situation than you are, because then it centers me a little
Better
bit.
about your life, yeah.
Another thing, I don't know if you've tried these Alani, like the drinks. You
I
know,
feel like I might have, yeah.
they're like
I think I know what
energy
you're talking about.
drinks.
But yes, yes, yeah. I know what you're
They
talking
make
about.
they make like powdered packets that are energy packets, and
Oh,
we've been trying some of those flavors, and I like adding something to my water throughout the day. I
yeah, I
hate
haven't
water.
tried them yet.
It's very good. It's like the ones that we have like the caffeine, but I think
Hmm.
there's ones that are like electrolytes. There's ones that are just like hydration. I think I'm not sure.
Oh, cool. Cool,
That's a
cool.
good one. I've been reading a lot. That's an obsession. So I'm juggling
What are
two
you
books right
reading?
now. I'm almost done with Gone Girl. I'm about 50 pages
Hmm.
away from being done with that. That's a really crazy book if you haven't read it. It's also a
Hmm.
movie that
I
I
haven't
haven't
read it. I've
seen.
seen the movie a couple times.
The book is we're gonna watch the movie together after me and Abby, but
Hmm.
the book is crazy, 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 crazy. Like I read it when I'm at work sometimes,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh my god, like my jaw hits the ground.
that's so funny.
My last obsession, and I have something I'm an
Hmm.
anti-obsessing about.
Okay, I love that.
Espresso martinis. I've been getting those pretty
Ooh,
much everywhere we go. Like I've never
yeah.
been like a super sweet drink type of person, but
Hmm.
I forget where I got one for the first time. I think our friend Gina made one for me, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." I was like, "This is I can have one of these."
Joe and Allie love espresso martinis.
Really,
They
they're like,
have been
oh,
obsessed. They're big coffee drinkers too, so they're obsessed.
oh yeah, you know me. I had coffee this morning. I had
Joe and
tea.
Brandon were drinking them the other night for Joe's birthday
Exactly.
before
And
they
then
switched to beer.
yeah, I'm a beer guy. I'm a beer guy. I feel that. My one anti-obsession that I've been
Yeah.
having recently
What
is
have you
I
been
think
hating?
so. I updated my phone because there was this app I had to get. I had to get the JetBlue app, and I can only have it if I updated my phone. So I
Hmm.
updated my phone to the latest iOS, and my least favorite thing in the whole world
Hmm.
is that they transcribe the audio messages now.
Yeah.
So I think that I know, like me and Julie, over the years, we've always communicated via voice note. Usually, like, oh, like
Yeah,
I'm
it's too lazy to
walking,
text.
I don't want to text. Like this is going to be a long story,
Too much to
or
say.
you just don't want to type it. You know, you don't want someone looking over your
Yeah,
shoulder and seeing that you typed that.
true.
And
Or
in
if I
my
was like
head,
driving or something.
exactly. In my head, I'm like, the text kind of like defeats that. I'm like, if I wanted to do talk to text, I would do
Mm.
that. I would do that.
I I do know what you're talking about.
Like
I
I
will
get like it's
say
easy, but also it
my one
frustrates me.
alternate perspective on that though is that when I'm working and someone sends me an audio message or I can't listen to it at the
It gives you
time,
the option at
it
least, right?
at least gives me a little bit of information where if I'm like, okay, I'm in the middle of doing something or like I can't listen to this right now, like do I need to go somewhere and listen to this right now? Is this
Right,
like
that's true.
emergent or what? Like or you know what I'm saying? So at least
That's
it's
true.
there for stuff like that because I really can't like listen to stuff like that at
I know,
work and
especially at
sometimes
your job, like it's
I
literally like,
know.
do I have to go in the bathroom or do I have to?
And it's like, can you hold off on the fucking heart attack? I'm trying to talk to my friend about what happened over the weekend at the
Yeah,
bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, how rude. Like, I need to know who cheated on who and what
I know
happened.
exactly. I feel the same way.
I'll tell you, but you gotta be patient with the damn chest pain, you know?
Yeah,
All
like
right.
calm down, take a deep breath. Have you tried that?
Oh, damn. Like, are you sure it's not in your head? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We only say that when it's a woman.
Yeah.
But no. I only say it when it's the men to give them a little taste of their own medicine.
Good.
But all right, I have a lightning round of a bunch of questions. We'll just
Okay.
go through them quick. You don't have to do long answers or anything. It's just some interesting things. And if there's anything else you want to talk about or anything you want to ask me at the end, we can do that. And otherwise, I'll free you. But all right, here's a lightning round to get to know me or get to know you questions.
All right.
All right, first question. Care to comment about your thoughts about trans inclusions in sports?
Oh,
I'm totally. This is obviously not a
that's
lightning round.
crazy.
I
That's
just was
crazy,
throwing that in there.
Julie.
I know. I just was throwing
You're
that in
such
there.
a psycho, crazy person.
I
Remember
know.
when I said Julie
I
was an ally? I think I actually have to take it back. I'm kidding.
I'm
I'm
just
kidding.
a little bit of a sadist. I'm a sadistic ally.
Yeah, that's
All
okay.
right. Favorite Boston sports team? I already know the answer to this. Bruins.
Yeah,
Go
Boston
Bees.
Bruins. Go
Um,
Bees.
what is Mass Arts mascot? Do they even have a sports team?
Yes, they are. It's a mastodon.
What the fuck is that?
It's a prehistoric mammal-like animal.
Ugh.
Animal.
And then these
Yeah.
art school people wonder why when you bring a joint to the party, every single person's hogging it. It's because none of you guys can get a damn job. What the hell? Like you're too busy picking a random ass animal for your mascot.
I didn't
No,
do
I'm
it.
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But what is an item that you currently need to get at the grocery store that you don't have at your house right now? Like what's on your grocery store list?
Honestly, like I should probably be watching my salt intake, so like unsalted butter.
That's good. Good to know.
Thanks.
Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, Pepsi.
Pepsi. Like classic Pepsi, or do you like Diet Pepsi or flavored one?
I like a Diet Pepsi, to be honest with you. I think that the
Yeah.
OG Coke and the OG Pepsi are too syrupy tasting. You know what I mean? Too
Interesting.
thick.
Interesting. What's your go-to order? Like, let's say you're out at the bar, you're like, oh, I need to get a drink. What are you gonna get?
Usually a Jack and Coke.
Classic. I thought it would have been Jack and Pepsi after that, but
Well,
depends where you go. Depends where
yeah.
you go.
Usually,
Okay, your
if
house.
it's too loud and they can't hear me, it's like they can read my lips, I guess. Like, I don't want to say Pepsi.
True.
And
I'm like vodka Red Bull. Your house is on fire, your apartment. What's 3 things in there that you would save? And not Abby, obviously. Let's imply she's not in there.
Okay, my birth certificate and social security card. Can I count that as well? Papers.
Yes. Yeah, because that's a
Papers.
boring one. So yeah.
That's shitty. That's shitty. I mean, like most of there's probably like one camera I would grab, but I don't know which one. But a camera,
The closest one.
Yeah, and then I think the third thing would just be like all whatever. I had like a box of like all my pictures and all my negatives, and I would just grab that.
Yeah.
That's it. And everything else can burn. I don't give a shit.
What in this hypothetical? What do you think started the fire?
That's a horrible question, Julie. That's a horrible question. In my brain, it's not something that we did. So I'll put it.
Okay.
It would
All
be
right.
like maybe like.
For me, it'd be like I passed out drunk and left like cookies in the oven, which I did on New Year's a couple years ago. And my friend woke up in the middle of the night to like go to the bath, or she actually was awake. I think I just went to sleep. It wasn't even a pass out drunk. I was like, I'm gonna sleep until my cookies are done. And then when the alarm went off, I was like, 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes.
Yep.
And then she was like, yo, whoever made these cookies, like they're hard as a rock. And Carly was like, Julie, what the fuck? They looked like double chocolate chip cookies, and they
Oh my
were
God.
not. And so then when people came over the next day, I told them that and got people to eat them, and they were like, ugh! It was like it was literally like ash in your mouth. Actually, it was
I
disgusting.
honestly would say yes. I would say it would be a kitchen started fire, whether it's like a grease fire or
Yeah.
like we just opened the oven and we shouldn't have opened the oven. That's what I would say. Like
Yeah.
not basic, but also like not crazy.
Yeah,
Not arson.
that's fair.
Yeah.
How much do you have left in student loans? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. What's your favorite exercise right now?
Oh, honestly, so I got a bike, like just like a little bike machine, and I've just been like loving like just getting on the bike for like 20 minutes before work and just like sitting there doing some brain rot, like
That's
Stardew
cool.
Valley. Yeah.
I like that. I appreciate that. What is the best comedian you've ever seen?
You know, I'm gonna mess up her last name, and everyone's gonna have to like genuinely like excuse me for that. Her name is Liza Schleislinger. Let me look it up.
Well, if you can figure out how to spell that, let me know.
It is. Oh, it's Eliza. So Iliza, and then her last name is Schleisinger. Schlesinger.
You're gonna
She's
have to send that
hilarious.
to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
text that
I'll
to you.
check her out. I'll check her out.
She's got some. Her big Netflix special that I think did really well is called Elder Millennial.
Oh, I've heard of that. I think I know
Yeah.
who you're talking about.
She's really funny. Like I haven't really kept up with much comedians as much as I used to, so I feel like she's like one that I've always kind of like remembered her name at least. So that must mean something, you know.
That's fair. That's fair. What's the best job you've ever had?
Oof, oh, that's crazy. My favorite job so far that I've ever done in my whole life, I would have to say, other than what I really like the job I'm at now, but I feel like before I was working at Mass Art and that was fun. Like I was a teacher's assistant. I maintained the dark rooms. I maintained the equipment.
That's cool. I remember that.
So that was probably
cool.
my favorite job so far. It's definitely.
What's your worst job?
I don't think I'm legally able to speak about that.
Okay.
But it was the only job I've ever been fired from. So there's I'm saying that much.
Well, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
What's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Shit, that's a good one. That's really good. You posted this the other day, and it's kind of a joke, but hopefully it'll get me to think about something else. But Chitty Bang Bang as a kid was definitely horrifying.
Oh yeah, I sent you that. Yeah, I know what you're talking
I
about.
was also afraid of the Oompa Loompas in Charlie and Willy Wonka.
They were
Yeah,
scary.
Charlie
I know what you
Factory.
mean. The song. It was scary. I know exactly what you mean.
Excuse me. I would say, like, other than that, the original Amityville Horror is pretty scary, but
I haven't seen it. I gotta watch that.
it's it's scary, you know, it's classic like, ooh, the house is haunted. Ooh. But
Yeah.
as far as like a recent movie goes, like I was just finishing up the Final Destination franchise,
Yeah, because
whatever
the
they
new
have
one
on
didn't the
Max.
new one just come out?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet,
Yeah, I haven't
so
either.
but those are pretty horrifying just as like concepts. So
I
I'd
think
say
I've only
that.
ever seen the first one. Maybe I'll go on a binge and watch them this
They're
week as
kind of
well.
funny. They're kind of funny,
I have heard
you
that. I
know.
get nervous though, like driving behind like a log carrying truck
Definitely,
and
I get
stuff
that.
like
Yeah.
that for sure. What is something that you only found out about at an embarrassingly old age?
There was something recently. Oh, this is you're gonna relate to this.
Okay.
Abby actually told me this when we were talking about it the other night. I learned this maybe like a year or two ago that if you ever watch Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, you know
Of
how it's
course.
like, you know how it's like London Tipton in the Tipton Hotel.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did not know that that
I
was
already
like
know where you're going with
a
this.
spin-off of the Hilton. I had no idea, and that London and
Yeah.
Paris, like no idea. So I felt kind of
I
embarrassed about that.
Well, I feel like I only knew because when we were younger, we would be like trying to watch The Simple Life and stuff like that. Like because we
Okay,
were like
yeah,
little girls that would be like, because Paris Hilton was all over all like the tabloid magazines and stuff.
yeah,
So
that's
it's like
true.
we would, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, it was pre-cell phones and stuff like that. Sometimes my dad would buy them just to like read if we were like waiting out, like, or like you'd read them in the waiting area or something like
Right, you're at
that.
CVS, you're waiting to get your flu vaccine.
Yeah, so I did know that just because we were aware of her and she was in our like mental sphere, and all our cousins were older, and
Yep, same
they're
here.
not as, they're younger than Paris Hilton, I think, but like they're in that age range where they would have been interested in that stuff. So it definitely introduced us to a lot of things. Like one of my cousins for her birthday one year, she gave out like Jessica Simpson like CDs, and they had the like the first season of The Simple Life, or not The Simple Life, the Newlyweds or whatever, the one that, when she and Nick Lachey were married, and she was like chicken of the sea. It's
Yes.
like, is this chicken? And it's the tuna, obviously, it's very
Yeah.
iconic, but yeah, so that kind of thing. What is your favorite night out spot at the moment? Restaurant, bar, whatever. Like, if you have a night out, where you want to go? If you
So
had the money to go, wherever
if
you
I
would like.
there are two places in Boston that I would recommend everyone goes. One's a chain, one is not. So I'll mention both just in case, you know. Um, First is a little bit more on like the more affordable side. Like you could definitely swing this like once a week if you really wanted to. It is Yellow Door Taqueria.
Oh, I've heard that's good. I haven't been
They have
there.
multiple locations. I've only been to the one in Mission Hill, but it's very good. You know, drinks are good at the one we go to. The menu's always kind of rotating. There's always at least one thing that's new, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The vibe is always nice in there, though. Like low lights, kind of romantic, but also very casual at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I would say second place is like you're going there either for a nice work event or you're going there for like a nice night out with like either your really good friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It's called
Yeah.
Banyan. I think it's Banyan Refuge and Grill or something like that.
Oh,
And that's
I
that's
haven't
on
heard.
Tremont Street in Back Bay
Okay.
in the South End. So
Good to know.
that's like Asian inspired. I don't know if it's like Asian infusion or whatever it is, but they have really, really fantastic drinks. They have really fantastic hot and cold plates, shareables, apps, soups, the whole deal. And
Great.
they have good desserts, but their desserts are the only thing that don't seem to rotate. Like their plates kind of seem to go through. So I'd say those two places. Yeah.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out because you know me and Joe love going out to eat.
No, I
We love
know.
it. We
And
don't go
both
out
have
as much.
outdoor
We
seating.
love cooking. Like I know that first episode I was talking all about what I got Joe for his birthday, and I kept running around being the last few days being like, I totally forgot something. There's something else I got him. I felt like I didn't get him enough. I actually did get him one other gift, and I forgot about it because
Oh my
it was the
God.
first one
Of
I
course.
ordered. But I got him an apron because he wanted one. Because we just don't have any. It's like we're getting grease stains on our shirts because we love cooking and like
A what? An apron. Oh, good.
an apron, yes. And it's green, and I got them to embroider like Chef Jomo on it, so he
Oh,
loved
that's
it.
so
Yeah, so
cute.
it's good. But it just reminded me because it's like we love going out to eat, we love food, we love eating, and my dad's always like Joe with the food pawn. He's like Joe's with the fucking food pawn. He's always saying you're taking pictures of the food and stuff, and it's just so funny because it like how he says it,
I
and
know.
it's like it's so true. My dad didn't even know what food porn was until Joe, and then he was like, "What the fuck?" My dad's like, "What are you talking about?"
That's kind of weird.
So I know he was like, "What the fuck?" But he thinks it. My dad loves inappropriate jokes because he's fucked in the head, and like
Yeah, of
he
course.
thinks it's just hilarious. And then my final question: what is something that you want to see on the podcast, or is there something I should do with my next guest, or anything like? Is there anything that you want to see, or anything that other people may be like, "Oh yeah, me too"?
No, I'm pretty excited. Like just based off like how this went, like knowing like the few people that you know are gonna come, I have a
Yeah,
feeling that if I did well, they're gonna do well with you as well. So I feel like
good.
I'm just looking forward to kind
I
of
appreciate that.
hearing what other crazy things you talk about. Because don't get me wrong, to you and to the viewers, I think that you're doing fine on your own, 100%.
Thank
Like
you.
if you want to do solo, right? But I also feel like it's gonna be fun to hear like there's some friends. Obviously, a lot of your friends don't know me. I don't know a lot of
It's
your friends,
definitely
so it'll
easier
be
and more
fun.
fun with someone else to talk to,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely
But
easier to bounce
I
for
I
sure.
appreciate that, and I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for being my first guest. If there's anything else you
Woo!
want to talk about, we can. But I know we've been on here for a while. But thank you so much. And if you ever want to come on again, or there's anything else you want to talk about, let me know. It is a learning process, but
Of
I
course,
feel like this
Julie,
has
it's
been
an
a good
honor.
experience. I think people are gonna like hearing what you have to say, Quinn. So
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
Julie. I think you're doing great. I think this is gonna go
Thanks.
places. So,
Illy,
woo!
thank you.
Illy, bye.
Bye.
Bye.